Ryan and Francesca made a powerful decision to literally say, we're going to play at a different level.
Not taking risk is a risk in and of itself.
Boom.
If you want to live in this bubble of safety, you're not going to grow. You have to get out of your comfort zone in order to make things happen. You study, you learn as you go. But more important than I think the academics and book knowledge is the people and network you have around you.
What if you could reclaim hours of free time each week, create legacy building wealth, and devote more energy to your passion projects without giving up on your career as a life-saving MD? Dr. Vikram Raya is a functional cardiologist, high-performance coach, and real estate expert, is here to give you the tools, strategies, and solutions you need to transform your life, unlock your limitless potential, and achieve greatness, all while freeing up your precious time. Welcome to Limitless MD. Let's dive in.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Limitless MD. I'm your host, Vikram Ryan. Today, I have a power team, a power couple. They're from Dallas. It's Ryan, who is a finance expert, and Dr. Francesca Byrne, who is a pediatric cardiologist, a person of my own interest and liking, and they've transformed themselves into a financial powerhouse. They've helped other investors rise up from the ranks of just becoming, investors in the stock market into owning actual real assets. And they're really on a mission to prescribe how to have financial independence. And so, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. So you guys are not only individually successful in your own right, then you guys decided to come together and create this investment vehicle that's helped countless people. But now you're here to educate and promote and really expand the possibilities of high-income earners and other professionals out there. Wow. Tell me more about how this all got started.
Yeah. We run a business, an investment company called Cashflow Capital Club. And it started by accident, more or less. We started investing in real estate 10 years ago. And we were doing things that we could wrap our head around, which is single family, long-term rentals. And then we hit a ceiling on that because we couldn't borrow anymore due to our income levels, right? So
income to debt ratio, yeah.
Yeah, so we had to start looking for other ways to put capital use. That was in multifamily. And in order to do that, we had to let people know what we were doing and where we needed help. And once we opened that door and allowed transparency and started sharing what we were doing in our network, we discovered how huge the appetite was for investing in real estate and things that made sense, generated passive income, had appreciation, cash flow, tax advantages. And it was an eye-opener for us. And that's when we launched Cashflow Capital Club.
And when was that? What year was that?
That was 2 years ago.
Wow.
And in that 7 years of investing in real estate, I think we worked our way up to 5 doors. And then 2 years when we opened up what we were doing and started sharing with our personal network, we're now managing 1,000 doors with so.
That's amazing. So this is the epitome, guys, of exponential growth here. They were flat, linear, slightly increasing over the years, playing it how most, physicians or other entrepreneurs play it, which is, slow and steady. And then something happened and boom, they made a decision. Probably it all starts with a decision, as you guys know. And Ryan and Francesca made a powerful decision to literally say, we're going to play at a different level. So before I get there, I want to bring Francesca into the conversation. You're supposed to be doing echoes and, looking at fetal ultrasounds. How the heck did you get into the real estate game?
Yeah. No, that is a great question that I definitely get a lot. I think, as you know, physician burnout is at an all-time high right now, unfortunately. And there's so many doctors that are looking at ways to practice sort of on their own terms, whether that's going into concierge medicine or working part-time or, even pivoting out of it altogether. And for me, I didn't want to become one of those casualties, as you say. And so I like what I do. I want to keep doing it, but I want to do it without having to have to do it, if that makes sense. And so for me, it was more the option of having that financial freedom, creating generational wealth, but still be able to practice medicine and do what I love without that stress and burden on it. And so then, of course, my husband here with his background, we started talking. And as we were doing those single families, realizing we were at that roadblock and saying, okay, well, we got to somehow get bigger, better. If you had told me 5 years ago that we would be at where we are now, I would never have thought so. But by talking to other physicians and other professionals who had similar interests and goals, but didn't know how to get that foot in the door and get access to, bigger opportunities for bigger multiplex or multi-unit apartments, just that launched it from there. And then kind of opened up my eyes as well to say, hey, we can do bigger things here than just the single family. And then it just kind of exploded and took off. And I'm so grateful for that.
That's awesome. So here's the question I'm going to get from all my listeners who are all entrepreneurs, really high performance physicians, and really growth oriented folks. They're like, where did the time come from? I'm assuming a pediatric cardiologist is quite busy, and you were a finance professional, Ryan. You had an investment banking background, hedge fund, work on the transaction side. I mean, how did you? I'm assuming you guys did it where you got earned. Like I think you told me during the green room, you said something about earn while you learn. So how did you start? First of all, how did you even do the single family homes, the 5 doors you had? Like people find that to be very risky. So where did you find the time, and how did you overcome the concern for making a mistake and thinking you're going to lose money?
Yeah, we always had an investing mindset. We knew the importance of investing for our future, putting capital to work. We work hard to earn the capital. Now it was time to put our capital and make that work for us, put our capital to use. Real estate was something we understood. It made sense. And single family long-term rentals does have a lot of risk to it. But not taking risks sometimes is risky in and of itself.
Say that again, Ryan. Wait, hold on. That was really powerful. Say that again.
Not taking risk is a risk in and of itself.
Boom. Nice.
If you want to live in this bubble of safety, you're not going to grow. You're not there. You have to get out of your comfort zone in order to make things happen. You study, you learn as you go. But more important than I think the academics and book knowledge is the people and network you have around you. And that was really what allowed us to do what we were doing was start.
Let me push you guys, because I still didn't get my answer from what the audience wants to know. Either you guys are superhumans and time is never an issue for you, or you figured out how to make time for something this important in your life where it will take you to a different trajectory. So tell me, as you guys are badasses in your field, each of you, where did the time come from? Because that is the challenge when I coach and mentor all these doctors, or when I bring people on, that's the challenge that I hear. So how did you overcome that?
Yeah.
No, and it is about making the time. We're certainly not superhuman. We're super busy individuals, and it was just about making it a priority. And we kind of, like many people, you get stuck in that analysis paralysis type of mindset. And so it's just taking that step and saying, okay, we're going to do this. And whether that means putting certain things aside, getting up earlier,
what are the things you put aside? How did you get up earlier? Are you like a 4 a.m., 5 a.m. kind of person? And also, what was the purchase price of your first single family?
It was, let's see, that happened 5 years ago. Our first single family was about 650.
Okay.
And I mean, today that house would be worth about 1.2 million.
Okay.
So
that was it, right? You just, let's scrape together some money. Let's go ahead and take down that first thing, that first home, and you got a pretty decent loan because this was probably under as your personal. So you probably had to bring 20% down, maybe. So maybe like a couple of hundred to this thing.
And I think I used a veterans loan for that. Veterans loan allows you to do 2 to 3% down.
Oh my God. Yeah. Or FHA.
We currently have on our current residence. I mean, and we purchased the home that we're in now 2 years ago. We use a physician loan, and there's physician loans out there that will allow you to leverage at 100%. So we did use leverage to get started, and a lot of it.
FHA loans, physician loans, veteran loans. There are HUD loans. There are ways to get really good loans, SBA loans, if potential. I mean, there's ways to get the funding. So it's not the funding, it's the decision. And so you started that journey, and when did the idea of scaling come to mind, Francesca?
So it really, like Ryan said earlier, it came kind of by accident. In 2020, with the COVID pandemic, that risk of the single family really kind of hit us hard, or at least the threat of that risk. And we realized that we needed more, a safer, more secure investment. And then we kind of got on that more passive side of investing with larger syndications, and we saw the growth and the potential was way more than what we had experienced. And so we said, well, we got to do more of this. And then just by talking about that with other colleagues and realizing, well, we're not the only ones in that position, and then bringing those people in, that's kind of how that growth happened organically, just by communicating. Ryan has that analytical financial mindset. He really gets into the nitty gritty, and my role comes in as more kind of, let me translate that into English for the working professional who wants to get in on this. But and so I'm able to kind of break it down and communicate it in ways that people can understand, and also they can relate. They want to work hard. They want their money to work hard for them, and I'm in that exact same position.
Okay, so
and you said something about time. That's very, very important, and where you get time from. One of the things that will help most people is to step out of the do it all by yourself mindset. We are not a one-man shop or a two-person shop. When we started networking with people who had the same goals and values of us, we discovered very quickly we could do more working together than trying to figure out every aspect of real estate by ourselves. It's overwhelming. It's impossible. I wouldn't say possible, but it's like there's no time for that. Like, you cannot be the tax professional, the estate planner, the underwriter, the brokerage sourcing, the property manager, have all the banking relationships, and once we sort of identified areas of expertise that individuals had, we bring them into the fold. We partner, and together there's a symbiotic relationship where we can do things better, more profitably, and with less stress.
Okay.
And that was a key takeaway right there. That helps with your time, that helps with your expertise, and can get you to places much, much more quickly.
Yeah, Ryan, I tell a lot of folks that multifamily is a team sport, and you've absolutely nailed it on the head with that. And so similar to how superheroes, the Avengers, you assembled a power team, which is
absolutely.
And you mentioned some of the key people, right? Legal team, CPA, tax, brokers, property management companies, asset manager, all of these people together. And then, sometimes if you're taking a bigger deal, maybe it's your group JVing with another group, perhaps, and taking the deal down. Or when you feel comfortable, it's doing your own deals. And then tell me internally for Cashflow Capital Club, you sounds like Francesca are the investor relations person, and Ryan, you're more of the, was it acquisitions or underwriting, asset management? How do you guys divide up the roles? And also, I want this is more for curiosity for everyone else who has a husband and wife team. How do you distinguish work and home life, and is that a challenge? So let's start with the division of your labor in Capital Club, and then we can talk about more of the personal professional balance.
Yeah, Cashflow Capital Club, we're working together on things. I'm very analytical. I speak in a lot of acronyms, and I'm numbers oriented, and what I say will fly over the head of 90% of the people out there, right? Francesca is an investor. She understands the business, and she can articulate better than I can to the community who wants to participate and do the types of things that we're doing and how we do them.
So are you acquisitions, or do you speak with brokers, or is that for Francesca? Who does what? Do you guys are you owner operators?
Yes, we're owner operators and have the investment company, and our partnership is a Venn diagram of roles and responsibilities. We had to partner with someone who had a balance sheet. It was a dentist, sold his dentistry practice to a private equity. He had a balance sheet of 25 million, but he didn't have deal flow. Another individual that we had known for 10 years in real estate, we were both underwriting deals and talking to brokers, and we're coming across things like, well, we don't have the financing for this. We don't have the balance sheet for this. No one's going to loan us $10 million to purchase this asset. Meanwhile, the dentist over here had the balance sheet, but he wasn't doing the underwriting and talking to the brokers. And that's sort of when
the symbiosis you're talking about. That's where the synergy.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's exactly, and that's exactly how, every master was once a disaster. Everyone was a white belt at some point, and this is exactly how you get started. And fast forward, Cashflow Capital Club 2028, you'll probably be the capital or the balance sheet for a starting physician, maybe, and you may JV with them.
There you go.
And this is how you pay it forward. And Francesca, you remember from our medical school days, see one, do one, teach one. So you probably, as an LP, and this is the sort of the transition I see like education, EP, education partner, then you become an LP, limited partner. And then maybe if you have balance, you can become a KP, key principal. And then now you guys are GPs, general partners, right? And so that evolution is fantastic. And you guys have emulated that well. So let's talk about a couple of different things. If you lost everything, guys, how would you redo it? How would you come back? Would you do the same strategy? Would you do a different strategy? What would you do? So let's assume all your real estate got taken away, you were bankrupt, but you had your education experience. What would you do next? I'll start with Francesca, and then I'll come to you next, Ryan.
Wow. I haven't ever been asked this question. This is pretty good. I think if I lost everything, I think we would probably do it the same. I think we would. So
talk about the medical side and then what you would do for the whatever thing you do afterward.
Yeah. Well, I think the medical side is a little harder because of there's debt with medical school. If I had to go through all that again, get into medicine, you don't start earning until you're in your 30s. We meet people who are 21 that are investing in real estate, and I look at them and I think, what was I doing when I was 21? I should have been doing this instead of taking MCATs or whatever. So I think probably, I would do that differently, which is a little bit of a sad state for medicine, but I think it's just the reality of it. Would definitely have gotten started much sooner, much younger, even just small amounts, whatever I could scrap together. You can start with, in a lot of places, $5,000-$10,000 and just kind of keep working your way up from there.
How about you, Ryan?
That's my answer.
Would you go back to investment banking, or would you go back to real estate, but just start using OPM? What would you do?
We would always do what we're doing that's successful today earlier. and sooner, right? I mean, we know people in their 20s that are more successful than us, but on the other end, we meet people that are 65 that are getting into multifamily, wishing they had started when they were in their 40s, right? So it's all relative, but it's getting out of your bubble and getting away from your desktop and going and sharing your goals and aspirations with people, what you've done, what you can do, and what your needs are. And it's the people and it's the network that is the most important. That is the catalyst to all of this. You cannot get that in a book, and you cannot get that in an online course. You have to start picking up the phone, having conversations with people, and that's how you find the people that can help you get to where you're wanting to go. Sometimes there's individuals that are at your level but can fulfill a need or expertise that you don't have. But sometimes there are people that are very relatable that are doing the things that you imagine yourself doing. It's like, well, if this person's doing it, there's no reason why we can't do it. It gives yourself permission, right, to break out of the limiting beliefs that you may have for yourselves, and what you're doing. So for me, we underappreciated that aspect of this business. We thought it was all do it yourself, learn, save, those things, but we did not appreciate the network and expertise that was already out there. We were trying to reinvent the wheel. It was so unnecessary.
So I wanna as we start wrapping up, I wanted to make sure I hit some of these really juicy topics that would help future investors not go down the pitfalls that perhaps me and you guys have. So give me the top 3 mistakes that you definitely want to help protect newbie investors and newbie docs from making.
You want to check? Well, so I have a couple. He probably has some too, but I think, that do-it-yourself or really just can hurt a lot of people. I think physicians were very educated, very smart, but a lot of times think we can maybe take on more than we can. You've got the successful surgeon who says, if I can, do this complicated, hip surgery, then I can, how hard can it be to manage, 10 units or do that? But, just like you would never be opening a medical practice without your, scheduler, your MA, your biller, you need a team, you need that support. So I think that's number one, is kind of putting the ego aside a little bit and recognizing what your strengths are and where you need help, is definitely probably my number one.
Get started and start investing. Earn while you learn. That small piece of action of investing with operators you like, trust, and you're investing in things that you understand, is a great way to get started. It's a great way to learn from experts who are already doing it while you're getting started. I would say that. I would say don't underestimate the time it takes to get into something like multifamily. It's a business. You could be an equity partner and invest and passively while you work. That's one way. But once you take on the role of managing 100 units, it's a full-time gig. So it's either going to be you doing it full-time or someone you hire doing it full-time. But I wouldn't underestimate that piece of it if you're looking to be an operator, right? It takes your mental time, and sometimes your physical time as well. So.
Yeah. And I think just that hurdle of taking that first step, you mentioned the see one, do one, teach one. I think a lot of people, and we were in this category too, get stuck in the see one, meaning we're just observing, watching other people do things. And so really just taking that next step, do one, talk to people that are doing it and surround yourself with those people. And then just, take that first plunge, and then, you learn and as you go.
And Guys, quick question. Are you guys happier now than you were 5 years ago or 7 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great that we can share something
Yeah.
and work on something together. I mean,
Yeah.
her being in medicine and me being in finance, our worlds didn't really overlap much, but now to have a business that we can own and operate together brings me a lot of pride. It makes me feel really good about that. And we're loving what we do. We're able to help an unbelievable amount of people. These are opportunities that are kind of happen behind closed doors. And we've changed that by leaving our door open and letting people know
I love
that
the
they can join us
transparency.
in this.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that you called yourself a club really makes it very inclusive, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
All inclusive club though.
and no, it's really just because this was like closed to us for so long, and we discovered it way later than I think we should have, being investors our entire lives. It's a moral imperative for us to let people know that they can do this themselves. They can participate with us, and this is not for the Wall Street club, as you would say. Hardworking individuals like ourselves can do this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I think I know there's a company out there with a really cool name, and that's sort of what you guys are embodying here, which is wealth without Wall Street, which is cool.
Exactly.
So let's talk about sort of I think this will be the last question. Give me, like, each of you maybe 2 to 3 of your top books that have helped you get to your current situation, mindset, business, real estate. What got you here? Was it a biography? Maybe you can share some of these nuggets of wisdom of phenomenal books that have really helped you guide you on your journey.
Well, for me, I mean, it is a bit of a cliche book, but it really is what started me back, I guess 20 years ago, which is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That changed my whole mindset in terms of investing and the power of investing. For me, I really enjoy podcasts a lot. I'm in my car driving from hospital to hospital, so I do that a lot. Bigger Pockets, for example, you, of course, and I think just listening to like I said, people that are doing this and doing different types of, there's so many niche areas, and just learning about it is really key.
Yeah, the Rich Dad Poor Dad was so helpful in breaking out of that employer-employee sort of mindset, where the only way I knew how to make money was a job, right? I did not know how anything worked. So that was very important. It was like, oh, that's how people are doing things. Okay, great. Napoleon Hill has all the books on mindset and growth. I didn't know that world existed, and that was important in our growth. Technically, there's a book written by Bill Ham called Real Estate Raw, the Red Book.
Okay.
It breaks down very simply what we're doing in multifamily. Every little piece of it that is required. When you're talking about roles and responsibilities of underwriting and lending, and it's one of the I think one of the best books out there that can give you a technical look, easy to understand and to read. So Real Estate Raw by Bill Ham.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Those were huge. It's good to reiterate, obviously, the favorites, but then it's always good to get these gems that some people have that, I've never heard of that book. So that's amazing. So I'll definitely pick that up. So guys, as we wrap up here, how can people get a hold of you guys, your company, Cashflow Capital Club? How can they be in your ecosystem? Help them learn more about you guys.
Yeah, so you can find us easily on our website, which is cashflowcapitalclub.com. Through there, you can request an invitation. You can reach out to us. There's a phone number as well, which goes directly to Ryan's cell phone. Love talking to people. Yeah, love talking to people, just answering questions, forming those relationships. and going from there. We're also active on social media, where you could find some information as well.
Yeah, and we're one of the greatest things we do is talk to people, no matter where you are in this game, whether you're experienced or just getting started. Don't feel like you're bothering us by reaching out. These conversations lead to new opportunities. So definitely go to cashflowcapitalclub.com. You can request an invitation to join our network, and we look forward to continuing the conversation and the future discussions that this is going to bring. So
thank you guys. What a great podcast. Really appreciate you guys. And thank you again, listeners, helping us grow the podcast, the YouTube channel. We've been really hitting some big milestones. So again, I really appreciate you. Genuinely thank you for your support. And until next time, be phenomenal.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Limitless MD. If you found value from this episode, I encourage you to share this episode with a friend and let me know by leaving a review. For more information, make sure you check out the links in the show notes below or simply visit vikramraya.com. Until next time, be phenomenal.